the question really was, what is an entity? Okay, when an opportunity knocks at the organization's door, it's not just an opportunity. It's basically there are different things attached to it. One is like they basically say, okay, we want to buy this much. So there is product attached. There is a thing that they wanna. There is a potential revenue attached. Then there is a person who calls. Then there is a company who calls. We all say, okay, this is one opportunity, but that is not true. Company has its own dynamics. The content component of this thing has its own dynamics. Opportunity component has its own dynamics. These three things have three different dynamics. Okay, company component has properties like it has a name, then it has an annual revenue. Opportunity does not have an annual revenue. Content does not have a revenue. Content has certain aspects. It has a title. Title is the property of the content. Influence level is a property of the content. Revenue, potential revenue is a property of the opportunity, right? Whether we won that opportunity is a property of the opportunity, not contact or account. If you lose one opportunity, you can win another from the same account or from the same contact. So that means that loss or won or victory is basically a property of the opportunity. As we're realizing, there is one single thing. We perceive it as a single thing, but actually, even in business world, there are three separate things. There is a different interplay. The only thing is we don't need to honor that difference. We don't need to respect that difference. We don't need to really maintain the difference. But in civil world, we're talking about corporates, and they basically want to make sure that they maintain these data differently. And there are different processes around account management. There are different processes around content management. There are different processes around opportunity management. Okay. Now, then they take a decision whether we should keep it as a separate entity or not. In this example, it's very evident we should keep it as a separate entity, but sometimes they don't. For example, in case of campaigns, as part of the campaign, they envision the campaign. Okay, this is a smart script. Then these are the number of responses per day that we want to have. These are the number of callers. So you need to have a caller as an entity, or you may not have a caller as an entity. Okay, so you can have different entities. You may have caller as a sub-entity of employee itself. Because it's not going to be employees only. So you simply choose among the employees as these are going to be callers. That's it. So sometimes you might have it as a separate entity, sometimes you may not. Okay. So this is the concept entity. Basically, all these three things, separate things, and all these different things, which you clearly see that it is not one thing. It is these whatever it is, or it's an interplay of these smaller things, entities. These are called as entities. Or entities, you need to be able to recognize. You call me on the very first day, I'll tell you these are your 5 entities. Just think about these 5. And this is how they map to SQL. So when you are doing the functionality, you first have to recognize the business. You gather the business requirements, right? Just as you gather the business requirements, you need to think in terms of what entities are they talking about. Look at SQL. I tell you the entities. You go to SQL, look at the entities. You will be able to map the entities very well. After you map the entities, that this thing should be this in SQL. This in the business should be this in SQL. Then you need to map the functionality. Once you map the functionality, you can do the gap analysis. On the very first day, you will be able to do a lot of work that will be used for the next 6 months. Just on the very first few weeks actually, because they will not give you work on the first day. Once just as they give you work, you will be able to recognize entity. For example, in case of box is an entity. Okay, that receiver that has to be sent is an entity. The interesting thing is they both have products. The way they have set up is both have products. Box is also product, this is also product. Okay, so I don't know what all. Partner, it's an entity, but you know what? Partner typically is kept as an account entity with a check mark that this is a partner. Right? Definition of account is any company which is not us is account. So they're kept as an account with a check mark. Competitors, we don't keep it as a separate entity, just check mark that this account is a competitor also. They could be buyers also of our products, right? They are competitors, but they could be buyers. Microsoft buys Siebel. They are competitors, but Microsoft has Siebel. Siebel uses Microsoft products as well. They are competitors in the CRM domain, but they are not competitors in the personal productivity software. So, but Siebel definitely buys Microsoft Word, right? So for Siebel, Microsoft is a buyer, that is an account, as well as a competitor, as well as a partner also. You know why? Because Siebel makes certain products for Microsoft Outlook and they sell it together. Yeah. Yes. So in this case, competitor and partner have been conceived to be a sub-entity of account.